I was fixing my old drill when Lisa walked in like she'd just stepped off a runway, all stiff posture and fake calm. Her suitcase was already half zipped on the bed behind her, and she didn't even look at me when she spoke. "Please don't come to my brother's wedding." At first I thought I misheard her. I wiped my hands on my jeans, glanced up from the drill. "What?" She let out this tight sigh like the weight of the world was on her shoulders, like she hated even having to explain it. Still wouldn't meet my eyes. Just stood there, lips pressed in a flat line, then finally said it. "I just don't want people to know you're a handyman." That word, just, stuck in my throat like a nail. She could have slapped me and it wouldn't have hit harder. I stared at her, trying to figure out if this was some kind of joke, but her face wasn't joking. It was stiff, scared even, like she already knew she'd crossed a line but was too proud to walk it back. I dropped the bit I was holding. It hit the floor and bounced. "You serious right now?" She finally looked up, but her eyes were already watery. "It's just my parents, their friends, the people at the wedding. It's a high-profile thing. I don't want to explain your job to everyone." I couldn't even respond. My brain short-circuited. We'd been married almost 3 years. 3 years of late nights, shared meals, fixing this busted house together. I built her a custom walk-in closet last fall with my bare hands. And now, I was an embarrassment. She sat on the edge of the bed and wiped her eyes. But I could tell those tears weren't for me. They were for her, for the image she thought I'd mess up. "I just want it to go smoothly," she whispered. That was when it hit me. She wasn't ashamed of the work. She was ashamed of me, of who I was, what I did. She liked the nice things my work brought, but not the grit that came with it. I didn't yell, didn't throw anything. Just stood up, walked to the door, and said, "Then pack faster. Before we start, how's your day going, and where are you joining from?" I left her in that room with her perfect suitcase and her pathetic tears. Walked straight down to the garage and slammed the door behind me. I stood there for a second, jaw tight, fists balled, staring at the pile of tools I used to build our life. And all I could think about was how it started. That first day we met at a volunteer build for disabled vets out in Gresham. Hot as hell, plywood stacked like bricks. The kind of day where the air sticks to your skin. I was elbow deep in drywall mud, smoothing a seam, when she walked over in this crisp white blouse and 2 clean sneakers, handing out flyers for her brother's nonprofit like she didn't want to touch anything. Lisa, all pearls and posture, chin tilted like she ran the site. She stood there watching me for a minute before saying, "You work with your hands like an artist." I glanced over my shoulder, thought she was talking to someone else, but nope, she meant me. "It's beautiful," she said. "You made that ramp for the little boy in, 2 hours?" "Hour and a half," I said, grinning. "Kid needed it bad." "I don't mess around." She laughed, this polished, practiced kind of laugh, but it felt genuine at the time. Said she admired men who built things. Said I reminded her of the guys her granddad used to talk about, real workers. We dated fast. Every time we met up, she asked questions like she was fascinated by how tools worked. I'd explain different joints or how to patch a cracked subfloor, and she'd look at me like I was reciting poetry. We got married within 9 months. No pressure, no big proposal. Just 2 people with fire under their feet. But I started noticing it after the wedding. Little cracks. Lisa liked that I owned a business. Said it showed ambition. But somewhere along the way, I realized she thought the business was just a stepping stone. "You ever thought of expanding?" she'd ask. "Maybe running crews instead of doing the hands-on stuff?" I shrugged it off. I like building. I'm not trying to sit behind a desk. She'd nod like she understood, but I could see it in her eyes. The way she started looking at my work clothes like they didn't belong in her closet. First time I met her parents, her mom gave me this thin smile and asked, "So are you transitioning out of manual labor eventually?" I looked her dead in the face and said, "Nope, I'm good at it." Her dad chuckled. "Gonna trade in that toolbox for a briefcase one day, huh?" Lisa just stood there, wine glass in hand, and gave this awkward smile. Didn't say a word to shut it down. Didn't say I'd built the shelves in their own daughter's condo. After dinner, I pulled her aside. "You gonna defend me next time? Or should I start printing business cards that say embarrassment in law?" She looked down. "They didn't mean it like that. They're just used to a certain crowd." I didn't press it. But the next time we went over there, I noticed she told them I was looking into real estate opportunities. Real estate? That's not what I do. That's not who I am. But she just smiled, changed the subject. That's when I started realizing she didn't love what I did. She loved the idea of who she thought I could turn into. It didn't stop with her parents. That was just the warm-up. Lisa started tweaking things, little at first. At parties, she'd introduce me like I was some vague entrepreneur. This is my husband, Mark. He runs a small business. No mention of tools, no mention of actual work. Just small business, like I sold candles on Etsy. Once we were at her co-worker's engagement party. Nice backyard, overpriced cocktails, bunch of people pretending they weren't checking each other's shoes. I was mid-convo with this guy who was talking about needing work done on a rental property, and I mentioned I did renovations. Lisa touched my arm, light but sharp, and said, "Mark actually manages a few properties." I froze, looked at her, eyebrows up. "I do?" She didn't even flinch, just laughed it off. "You know, overseas projects, big picture stuff." "No, I'm the guy under the damn sink tightening the fittings." Back in the car, I brought it up. "I manage properties now?" She sighed like I was being difficult. "You don't understand how these people think. If they hear repairman, they picture someone scraping by. I'm just trying to present you in the best light." "The best light? Or the least embarrassing one?" She didn't answer. After that, it got worse. One morning before some charity gala thing, she came into the bedroom holding a navy sport coat I hadn't worn since our wedding rehearsal. "Can you wear this tonight?" she asked. I was wearing a clean button-down already. "What's wrong with what I've got on?" She gave this tight smile. "It's just your forearms. There's still some paint on them. I don't want anyone to think you came straight from a job site." I pulled the shirt sleeve up higher. "Because I did come from a job site." She stayed quiet, didn't look at me, just held the jacket like that would fix it. That's when I realized she wanted me polished, not proud, tidy, not talented. Still, I bent. I wore the jackets, sat through her family brunches like a mute, nodding while they talked stocks and Europe and wine pairings. Pretended I didn't hear the snide remarks about blue-collar backgrounds. Let Lisa pretend, but it ate at me. The worst was this one Sunday at her parents' house. I went to, "That's stable enough for you?" He laughed, but not like it was funny. "Just saying, wouldn't hurt to upgrade the image a bit. Be easier on Lisa. Be easier on Lisa." When I told her what he said, she didn't deny it. Just gave me the same weak smile. "They just don't get it." "No," I said. "You don't defend it." Then came her brother's wedding. That was the breaking point. The final proof she didn't want who I was. Just the idea of me, cleaned up and quiet. She came home, suitcase half zipped, voice tight as a wire. "Please don't come to Nathan's wedding." And I knew, right then, it wasn't just paint she was trying to cover. It was me, the second those words left her mouth. "I just don't want people to know you're a handyman." Something cold settled in my chest. And standing there in that garage, listening to the house creak above me, I knew this wasn't about a wedding anymore. It was about everything she'd been chipping away at for years. Nathan's wedding was all anyone in her family had talked about for months. He was marrying some influencer type from California. Hair perfect, teeth perfect, followers in the hundreds of thousands. There were magazine people coming, sponsors, a live stream planned. Lisa's parents acted like it was royalty level important. Funny thing, I was never asked to help. Not to fix a light, not to mount speakers, not even to build a simple arbor. They hired outside contractors for everything, and Lisa kept me out of it like I'd contaminate the place. The week before the wedding, she came into the kitchen late at night while I was sanding down a pine board for shelves I was installing. She hovered there, wringing her hands, then said it again, softer this time, like that would make it better. "It's just not the right look, Mark." I set the sanding block down slow, steady. "What look are you after exactly?" She swallowed, didn't answer. "Say it," I said. She shook her head. "It doesn't matter. It's just one event. One event you don't want your husband at." Her eyes flashed with something, guilt, maybe, or maybe fear that I'd finally caught up to the truth. She whispered, "You don't understand the circles they run in." "I understand enough." We didn't speak the rest of the night. I slept in the living room, or tried to. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of a zipper. She was in the bedroom packing, a whole suitcase this time, not just the half-zip threat from the day before. Clothes folded tight, shoes tucked in their little bags, her jewelry roll wrapped neat like she was planning a vacation. I leaned on the doorway. "You going somewhere?" She didn't look up. "I think it's time." "For what?" For me to be with someone who matches where I'm headed. My jaw locked. And where's that? She closed the suitcase, finally meeting my eyes. Up. It was the kind of thing that should have made me yell, slam a door, break something, but all I felt was this dull, heavy thud in my chest, like my heart was tired of arguing for its own worth. I asked one thing. You walking out over a damn wedding? Her voice stayed calm, too calm. It's not the wedding, it's everything. The image, the expectations, the future. I'm sorry, Mark. I need more. I stared at her. The same woman who once told me my hands looked like art when I built that ramp for the kid at the vet project. Now she couldn't stand the sight of them. She pulled her suitcase off the bed and headed for the door. I'll stay with my parents until after the wedding. I stepped aside. Didn't block her, didn't plead, didn't give her anything she could twist into a reason to feel righteous. She walked out of the house we'd rebuilt together. The craftsman I'd gutted and refinished board by board. The crown molding I'd installed. The kitchen I'd remodeled. The doors I'd hung. She didn't touch any of it on the way out, just rolled her suitcase over the hardwood I laid with my own hands. When the front door clicked shut, the house went dead quiet. I went back to the garage, picked up the sanding block I'd left by the pine board. My hands were shaking. Not from sadness, not even from shock, but from this deep, tight anger pressing against my ribs. I braced my palm on the workbench, breathing hard. Every muscle in me wanted to put my fist through the wall. Instead, I grabbed the sanding block again, gripped it so tight my knuckles went white, and dragged it hard across the wood until dust flew everywhere. And I kept going, aggressive, fast, furious. Because if I didn't, I was going to break something a hell of a lot bigger. The wood dust was still floating in the air when I dropped the sanding block and walked back inside. For the next 5 days, I didn't pick up a single tool, didn't return texts, ignored calls, let voicemails stack up from customers, vendors, even my cousin who needed help with a bathroom job. Told Troy, my lead tech, to handle everything. Don't ask, just run it, I said. He didn't push, just said, "You got it, boss," and kept the wheels turning. I drifted through the house like a ghost, stared at the barn doors I'd made from reclaimed fur, the custom shelving I built into the office nook for her books. She never even unpacked half of them. Day 6, something clicked. I woke up and couldn't stand the quiet anymore. No big moment, no music swell, just couldn't sit in that dead house another minute. I threw on my work jeans, grabbed my gear, and drove to a job site we'd scheduled before everything went sideways. An older lady out in Oregon City who needed her kitchen rewired. Small job, nothing glamorous, but I needed it. When I knocked, she opened the door with this warm smile like she'd been waiting for someone to fix more than just her lights. "I'm so glad you came," she said. "Everything's just not working right." I nodded. "Let's get you fixed up." I spent 4 hours in that little kitchen, crawling under cabinets, replacing wires, patching up a busted outlet box. My hands remembered everything my head had forgotten. After I flipped the breakers back on and tested the last switch, she clapped her hands. "You've got gold in those hands," she said, reaching out and giving my arm a squeeze. I looked at her. Soft gray hair, calluses on her fingers from decades of cooking, and I almost lost it, cleared my throat. Glad it's working again. On the way home, I rolled the window down, let the cold air hit my face. Didn't even turn on the radio, just listened to the road hum under the tires and thought, maybe I'm still in here somewhere. That night, I ate a full meal. Leftover meatloaf, cold as hell, but it didn't matter. Then passed out on the couch without even setting an alarm. And for the first time since she walked out, I actually slept. I woke up the next morning with a crick in my neck and a voicemail from Nathan. Didn't listen to it right away. Just stared at the screen while heating up coffee in the microwave. The second I sat down, the phone rang again. This time, Lisa. I let it go to voicemail. Then her mom called. That one I blocked on instinct. Finally played Nathan's message. His voice was tight, rushed. "Hey Mark, I know this is a big ask. Something went wrong at the venue. The lighting system blew out. They don't know what caused it. We've got people flying in tonight and nothing works. Lisa said you were the only one they trusted to diagnose smart system issues. Please call me back." I set the phone down, took a long sip of that bitter, reheated coffee, and stared at the cabinet doors I installed last year. 10 minutes later, Lisa called again. This time, I picked up. She didn't even say hello, just launched in. Mark, I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from right now, but the venue's down. The entire lighting setup is fried. Stage lights, pathway LEDs, the control panels, all of it's unresponsive. Call the vendor, I said flatly. We did. They said it's a system issue, not hardware, some kind of surge. They can't even get someone out until next week. I didn't say anything. She rushed on. Mark, please, you're the only one who can figure out what's wrong with that grid. You know that system. Nobody else can get it fixed in time. And this affects me how? Because it's Nathan's wedding and, her voice cracked a little, because I was wrong. You're not just a handyman. You're the only one who can save this thing. Thought I wasn't the right look. Silence. Then she whispered, I'm sorry. I still didn't answer. Just hung up. About an hour later, Nathan called again. I almost ignored it, but something in me said, hear the guy out. He got straight to the point. Look, man, I don't care what Lisa said. I always respected you. Always. You came through for people. You helped my buddy get his rental fixed in 2 days after that storm. Remember that? Yeah. I'm not asking you to forgive anyone. I'm just asking you to help me marry the woman I love. We're falling apart over here. You don't owe us, but I'm still asking. I rubbed my jaw, looked out the front window at the driveway. My van sat there like it was waiting for me to remember who I was. I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no either. Next morning, I loaded the van before the sun came up. Brought every backup panel, surge protector, and tool I had. Called Troy and 2 of the guys. Gear up! We've got a venue to resurrect. We pulled up to the estate around 7. Fancy place. White stone, glass walls, wide-ass fountain out front, spraying like it was trying to prove something. The event planner met us at the main entrance. Thin woman in black, headset on, eyes full of panic and caffeine. You're who? She asked, blinking at the van. Mark Bennett, I said, stepping out with a case in one hand and the coffee in the other. Here to fix the mess. She gave me a once-over like I was there to clean the toilets. Maintenance is around back. Nope, I cut her off. You're gonna want to move. I need main breaker access and full control panel visibility. She didn't budge. Troy walked past her with the toolkit and said, We ain't here to ask, lady. I followed him in. The ballroom looked like a war zone. Dark, cold, wires pulled, control panels blinking error codes. Half the lights were flickering like a haunted house, and the speakers made this low humming noise every few seconds. Jesus, Troy muttered. Let's kill the surge and start fresh, I said. Give me 30. We got to work. I bypassed the fried circuits, rerouted the feeds, and hard reset the smart grid through a manual override most techs don't even know exists. One of the dimmer racks had melted from the inside. Had to swap the whole thing out with one I pulled from the van. In under an hour, the whole place was running clean again. Chandeliers, stage wash, aisle up lighting, all humming clean and stable. That's when I saw her. Lisa, standing across the ballroom in a silky dress, makeup perfect, eyes wide. She looked like she wanted to say something, mouth parted, breath caught. But I turned back to the panel without giving her the time of day. She lost that right. As we tested the mic system, she came over and smiled. You're the guy who saved the day. I nodded. Just fix some wires. No, she said, real serious. You brought the power back. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just gave a tight smile and kept rewiring the audio rack. By noon, everything was locked in and tested twice. The place looked like a magazine cover. The planner finally stopped pacing. Lisa was still hovering nearby, but I never let my eyes meet hers. Nathan found me backstage just before we packed up. He looked tired, but relieved. Man, he said, shaking his head, you saved this. I shrugged. Just did what needed doing. No, really. Everyone here knows it. My parents know it. Her family knows it. Hell, even the planner admitted she underestimated you. I didn't need the praise. Didn't want it. But hearing it from him, a guy who'd always been straight with me, it landed. Thanks, I said, grabbing my gear. We're out. And just like that, I walked out the side door, toolkit in hand, dust on my jeans, not waiting for applause. The ballroom flipped fast. 1 hour, it was a busted shell. Next, it was glowing. Every table lit with amber uplights, music humming clean through the speakers, people dancing like nothing ever broke. I stayed for the reception, mostly because Nathan asked. Said I should grab a plate, relax, enjoy the night. I didn't. Just grabbed a beer and found a seat in the back corner, away from the noise. Back by the fire exit, next to a half-dead fern and a stack of folding chairs. First sip of beer, I finally exhaled. Not relief, just space, breathing room. A woman approached, early 40s, sharp eyes, simple black dress, walked like she was used to getting things done. "You're Mark, right?" she asked, stopping in front of me. I stood halfway. "Yeah, I'm Camille. I work with Eastgate Architecture. Heard you did the lighting here." I nodded. "Yeah, rewired most of it this morning." She smiled. "It's incredible. We've got a historical venue in Portland with a failing electrical system. I'd love to get your card." I pulled one from my wallet and handed it over without a word. She looked it over, nodded once, and left. No small talk, just business. I liked that. 10 minutes later, 2 more people came by. One ran staging for a local music festival. The other handled event rentals. Both asked for cards. Word was spreading. I sat back, beer half finished, trying to process the shift. I came here a ghost. Now, people were looking at me like I held the building up. That's when Lisa walked over. She had a glass of wine in one hand, her heels in the other, face soft, but tired. I could smell the hairspray and stress clinging to her dress. "You were amazing today," she said, her voice low. I didn't answer, just gave her a single nod and kept looking straight ahead. She sat next to me, close, too close. "I mean it," she said. "You fixed everything. Everyone's talking about it." Still quiet from me. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "Maybe we could talk sometime?" I turned toward her just enough to let her know I was listening. "There's so much you could do, Mark," she went on. "With the right support, the right guidance. You could take this to the next level." I let the words sit in the air for a second. Then I looked her dead in the eye and pointed at my hands. "These are the support," I said. "You just never respected them." Her face cracked. A flicker of something passed over it. Shock, maybe regret. But I wasn't sticking around to study it. I stood, finished my beer in one pull, tossed the empty in the trash on the way out, and walked back into the night. I hadn't even made it 20 steps from the ballroom when her parents came chasing after me. Her dad, still in his tux, called out, "Mark, wait a second." Her mom followed close behind, clutching her little silver clutch like it held answers. I stopped but didn't turn. They caught up, out of breath, smiling like none of this was awkward. "We wanted to thank you properly," her mom said, reaching into her bag. Her dad pulled a folded check from his inside pocket. "You really saved the day," he said, handing it out like I was their contractor again. "It's the least we can do." I looked down at it, clean white envelope, heavy with money they thought would make things right. I didn't even touch it. "This wasn't a job," I said. "This was me reminding myself who I am." Her mom blinked. "Excuse me? I don't take payment for proving a point." Then I turned and walked away, toolkit swinging in my grip. I passed the valet, past the wedding guests snapping pictures in the entryway. Nobody stopped me. Nobody tried to thank me again. When I got to my van, I popped the back open, tossed the gear inside, and just stood there for a second, hand on the door. The last light of the day hit the glass of the building just right. Looked perfect on the outside, just like Lisa. I got in, shut the door, and drove home with the windows cracked and no music playing. That night, I reopened the booking system on my company's website. Set a new category, specialized event work, now available. It felt stupid typing it at first, but I left it up. Didn't even push it on social, just posted a quiet update, went to bed. By morning, 3 new requests were sitting in my inbox. The first was from Camille, the woman from the architecture firm. She had a heritage site in downtown Portland with a full system issues and needed someone who knew how to work around antique wiring. The second was from a magazine venue rep. She wrote, "Heard you pulled off a miracle in under an hour. Our tech crew's been stalling for weeks. When can we talk?" And the third, that one came from a production company out of LA. No intro, no fluff. Just a subject line, looking for the miracle worker from Oregon. I read that one twice. Then I closed the laptop, grabbed my coffee, and went to the shop early to start sorting gear. 2 weeks later, I sat across from Lisa at the lawyer's office while she signed her name for the last time as my wife. No tears, no drama. Just a dry, "I'm sorry you couldn't grow with me," like I was some weed she outgrew. I nodded once, didn't say a word. I'd already said everything that mattered. Walked out of that place with clean hands and a weight off my chest. The second I hit the sidewalk, I exhaled. It was done. My business? Booked solid for 6 months. Had to hire 2 more guys just to keep up. Troy took over more scheduling. I started focusing on custom work and event system overhauls. Word kept spreading. People wanted the guy who showed up, got it done, and didn't screw around. And the best part? I finally had time to give back. Every Saturday now, I volunteer with the same veteran build charity where I met Lisa. Only difference is, now I'm one of the mentors. Guys fresh out of service, no clue what comes next. I show them how to frame a wall, fix a breaker, lay tile straight. Show them what you can build with your own hands. We don't talk a lot, just work, that's enough. Last week, I was packing up after one of those sessions when I saw a text from Nathan. Still grateful, still ashamed of how you were treated. I stared at it for a minute, then typed back, "Water under the bridge. I'm good now." And I meant it, because I am. I've got calluses again, got sawdust in my truck and burn marks on my gloves, got a calendar full of jobs that actually matter. No lies, no disguises. I may be just a handyman, but I've built something real, and nobody's ever going to take that from me again. Do you think Lisa ever truly respected him, or just used him? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more true stories.